Good morning and a very warm welcome to our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and selamat datang to RSOG School of Government's In Conversation series, Local Wisdom to Strengthen Governance Capacities, Exploring Bugis Administrative Tradition. We are honored and pleased to have all of you here. We are privileged to have Mr. Andi Ahmad Yani, Senior Lecturer, Department of Administrative Science, Hasanuddin University, Makassar, Indonesia. We hope everyone will learn something from this session today. And without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Asti Nizia Azmi, who will moderate the session. Over to you, Nizia.
Thank you, Satya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera to everyone here. My name is Nizia Azmi. What am I doing here? Who am I? Because usually, actually, Satya is the moderator for the In Conversation series. So I am actually a former employee of RSOG School of Government, waktu dulu-dulu when they were just getting established in 2010. And I was, I think, employee number 3. So I was involved in the establishment, the helping envision what is RSOG for, what is it here to do, what can it do differently from what's already out there, because we already have other existing kind of leadership and training types of institutions for the public sector and in leadership in Malaysia, kan? So that was kind of the work that I did, and then I had to leave because got married lah, ada macam-macam, kena pergi overseas lah, apa, it's just life, right? But life would also have it that I would return to Malaysia because this is my kampung halaman. But Indonesia is actually also my kampung halaman because my mother is originally from Riau. And as I got older, I felt that I had to be at home where my roots are. Walaupun dah 20 tahun dekat US, okay, tak apa, dapat ilmu, dapat suami, kan, dapat banyak kawan. But last no, I have to be home. And I got home, and a colleague at RSOG heard about it. We got to talking, and they asked to engage me on this project. So I'm actually a project consultant for this project that we are terming leadership in public sector leadership informed by local wisdom. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. I just want to kind of provide the background as to why I'm here. And then who is this Mr. Andi Ahmad Yani? So we actually have history as well, because when I was in the US, I got my master's at the University of Hawaii and the East West Center, and so did Mr. Yani. And so we lived in the same international postgrad student dorm, and that was where I really learned a lot from all these different people yang memang jauh duduk dekat tengah in the middle of nowhere in Hawaii, but many of them are actually from Malaysia and Indonesia and other parts of the world as well. And that's where I actually learned more about my own kampung halaman. So, and one of those people is Mas Yani, I call him, but he's Mr. Andi Ahmad Yani. So today, why local wisdom? Apa benda ni? Like, what is this for really? It's just an invitation, satu undangan, satu jemputan for us to take a moment and look at our own roots when it comes to leadership, specific to the public sector. I know there might be a few colleagues also from experience downstairs, but at the end of the day, the public and private sector actually have to work together, right, to make our country move forward. So we just want to take a moment. It is not a criticism of whatever we have inherited from, from our colonizer, from whatever. We are making it work already. This is just an invitation to take a moment, take a pause, and see what else can we use and to dig from our own roots. Dari asal-usul kita sendiri, asal-usul kebudayaan kita sendiri, dan kearifan lokal dari kita sendiri. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Mr. Yani.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Izinkan saya berdiri. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here and sharing my experience, my knowledge with all distinguished guests. And this is like a very special event that I hope also that I can learn from all respected audience from here. And as Puan Nesia talked about that, I will discuss about Bugis administrative traditions. It's just like a first step that we can explore more administrative traditions, since I believe that Malaysia have a huge, diverse society as well, and we can explore more our roots. And you can see here, this is Latoa, it's like the ancient manuscript. The content of Latoa is the guidelines of the leaders, how to manage, how to govern the people. And they use like a script, lontar, as I wear, they say I wear this. This is the lontar script using the Bugis, Makassar. So we have a long story of you know, the literature that we will discuss it later a little bit. So this is Latoa. This inspired me to explore more about the root. And I believe that we were civilized more before the Europe came here. If we read history, China, India, you know, countries in the south, we have been more civilized to manage our people before the colonizations. So these are the outlines. I have like 45 minutes, I believe. Yeah. We'll discuss a little bit questioning about homogenizing Western governments in mostly developing countries. And I will provide the concept of administrative traditions. It's a framework to explore the roots that we have been used in our society, but mostly we forgot it through, you know, a lot of things. And also, I will discuss about Bugis administrative traditions. And Latoa, I mostly cited from Latoa. And after that, some cases in organization and individual levels. And also a challenge for administrative tradition as, you know, probably like an agenda for our discussions. So I will start with these issues that why we have been applied Western governments. Since after the war, the Second World War, mostly all emerging countries, they look like how to govern our country before all the Europe's countries left. What kind of government type that we should use? And mostly, all the emerging countries, the independent country after the Second World War, they just taken for granted from the colonial system. Indonesia with Dutch, and I believe here from British, of course. And the same with all of like, if you follow the development of administrations, 80s, 70s, all the Western countries try to, you know, impose that idea. And they have like a provided aid, development aid for emerging countries, but if you want to use our money, you should apply the way we also use it. So if you want to use our money, just, you know, use good governance, administrative development stuff, new public management currently, for example. And this become criticizing for developing country scholars that do we believe that the Western is the best one? Do we believe that democracy in America is the ideal one of democracy systems? As Fukuyama in his books, he said, democracy in America is not democracy, it's fetocracy. There was a single or several groups, they have a lot of power to control another groups. That's not democracy, that is fetocracy. And also we can see the UN security use that kind of systems. It's not democracy. There's no egalitarian. It is, no. So Ali Warasman, he was a professor, scholar in United States, but he is Iran. He tried to criticize the governance. And another study with Samsul Haq, the professor from National University of Singapore as well. He wrote about how the developing countries impose the Western governments through the aid developments. UNDP, World Bank, UN, name it, all of kind of things. So Ali Warasman proposed the zone governance. The interesting thing, in the zone governance, they try to adapt the local wisdoms. There's one room that we should appreciate the root of our society, long way before the colonization came to us. And the same also with the Africans. They try to make an alternative measurement of democracy and governments. And also in Asia with our colleague in Taiwan. They have the Asian Democracy Index. And this was the way that we try to keep a little bit, and then we see in deep ourselves that who are we, and how to explore our roots, to govern ourselves. And some studies and then prove that there was some obstacles that we face when Western government system applied. Cultural barriers, obviously, yes. And also the lack of organization of human resources. Human resources, not about that the Western is smarter than us, no. It's because we difficult to understand the way they think. See, there's a different idea. So, and the result is that sometimes this is resist of change and try to uphold the traditional values. And the impact is we try to pretend apply the Western government system in a very superficial way. For example, like structures, the policy, but the substantive way, the way we teach each other, is very different because it's very different culture of belief, We are from the Asians, China, India, Malayu, Bangladesh, India, name it. It's a very different way. If you, I don't know if you read the Hofstede, it's a social psychology professor. He did the studies and tried to, categorize different people in the world. And there was a cultural mapping, and it's very different. How the people in Asia, China, South America, North America, Africans, all the company, how to believe to their visions, how to develop their groups, to control the employee and staff. It's very different. Hofstede is the example academically proven that this was a different way to teach or to cooperate the problem in our society. So what exactly Western government? Even Western government is left. It's very different. The people in Anglo-Americans, Napoleonic, Germanic, and Scandinavians, it's totally different. And why they should impose us to one different system government. Even they have a different way to teach or to govern their people. People in Netherlands, in France, in Germany, it's a different way. Because they have a different culture. They have a different historical way, to govern the people. So this is an example how the actually Western government is a very different way. people in the Germany, in the Europe, and in the North America. Any problem? So, I will start with administrative traditions. As I mentioned here, this historical legacy, administrative cultures, and also cultural institutional context. And in the two dimensions, structures and ideas. So this is a more broad way, then I believe that we can explore more about this. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah, my fault. Sorry. So I use this book as a framework in an academic way to analyze the administrative traditions. Guy Peters is one of distinguished professor from Pittsburgh University. He was a big guy in public administrations stuff. So I attended his lecture. When he was a guest professor in Rotterdam. It's very lucky that I met. And during this class, he proposed this book, and this also inspired me to explore about our government systems. So there are 4 elements to categorize or to analyze the administrative traditions. Okay. The first one is how the governments build the relationship with the society. It's a contract or organic. And what about the relationship with political institutions? The bureaucrat is more impartial, or the part of political parties as well. This is very different. In the United States, mostly the bureaucrat is a part of political parties. The UK is more like a different way. And Indonesia, for example, also they try to like a more independent, but yeah, it's not actually like that. And law and management is also very important. What is exactly the educational background of the public employee? Either the law, mostly in Europe, or management, mostly in Anglo-Saxons, like the UK, United States. They try to teach or to govern people either in the legal perspective or in a business perspective. And this is also, I would like to provide like an academic framework in governance capacities. There are 4 main elements. It should be the important things that all the actors, the institution and governance, to work, to improve the collective actions, how the people, the actors, the individual stakeholders work together to solve the problem, coordinations, how all the actors share the information about goals and action, opportunity and threats, issues and ambitions based on the mutual understanding. Resilience as well is very important. We have a lot of threat, a lot of challenges, how to deal with that. And learning, one of the important capacity that we should have, that how to experiment and foster innovative solutions. And resources, not only like money, or also like legitimacy, human resources, of course, knowledge, even the culture is our resources, So this is how we try to improve these 4 elements to elevate the government's capacity. Okay, why Bugis administrative traditions? The first one, I believe that a lot of Bugis people came to Malaysia here around 17th centuries. Sultan Selangor, Sultan Johor is descendants from Bugis. And the Bugis people has been applied democratic value since the 14th centuries. The king was elected. There was equality and equity principle during the time, and we can discuss later. And also, government subject to written law. And mostly people say the people in Asia are more like a patriarchy. In the Bugis, some kingdom was led by the queen. And one of the important things about civilization is literature. The literature is about the message of the people, the idea and the creativity of the people about the environment, the phenomena. And in the Bugis people, they already have the kind of literature. They call it lontara, from lontar, the leaf of palm. And we have Lagaligo. This is the ancient manuscript, the longest ancient manuscript in the world, even longer than Mahabharata. And now, it's put in Leiden University library. According to Cairn, they have 225 lines, 6,000 pages. And this is the pictures. There are 12 series, actually not series, because it's very long and was written around 19th centuries at the time. Previously like oral story, say like a harvest kind of parties. They try like storytelling people. So they like before there is no like singing and stuff. No, like how to entertain our guests, to storytelling. So Lagaligo is storytelling. So and it's like a love story actually. And this is 12 series. These are the first 12 series. And it's already translated to Indonesia, only 3 series now. And now it's digital. We can access it in digital file through the library of Leiden universities. This is an example of the old ancient lontar. So not like now it's a book, so the lontar, the leaf, they make it a little bit small, and then they read it with the scrolly, so that's the way we. But this is not Lagaligo. This is only the example how the people read the book. So you can imagine this for maybe like a Japanese or Koreanese, they read it, top to down, right? So this is also another different way, to write the idea. So this is Lagaligo. Okay, where is this actually Bugis? Here in Sulawesi Island, the South Sulawesi, around here. Yeah, and then in more specific way, this is South Sulawesi. This is Sulawesi Islands. This is South Sulawesi. There are 24 districts, but the oldest kingdoms is Wajo, Bone, Luwu. This is previously like a one area, one district, and Sopeng. I was born here. So this is the oldest kingdoms and was written in Lagaligo. So there, these 4 kingdoms is already exist there. And some kingdom is already disappeared. It's also written in Lagaligo. They call it Kingdom of China. Not China, it's China. So there was a little bit, debate about what is the China actually? Is it the real China in the Tonghua or the real China another way? So, well, we can discuss it later. Okay, so the ancient Bugis Empire, the 14th through 19th centuries, according to Lontara, it was developed based on agreement between inhabitants, Anang, citizens, we call it, to Wanua, the district, let's say like that, and then the leaders, Ulu Anang or Matoa, with a new ruler, Tomanurung. Who is Tomanurung? Tomanurung literally means people come from the sky. So they like the myth. So before this period, before the leaders make the agreements, there was a chaos. All this, the warfare, everywhere. So the Matoa, they meet each other, okay, we should finish this violence. But I don't want you to lead me, and I believe you also don't want me to lead you. So the solution is, let's find another one. And he said, you know what? I had there's one guy, he's a very wise guy. He just came over our land. Really? Yeah. So what do you think that we can meet him or her, and then probably he will be our leader? So yeah. And then they came there and they made agreements. Okay, we put you as our leader, but you should protect us. The next slide, I will show you the agreements. This is very important, I will say you. Where is Tomanurung actually? It's a human, of course, yeah. But it's the myth. Why they use the myth? Because, as a Raja, they want to losing her face now. Come on, you like controlled by the outsider? Who the hell is he? So they make a myth. No, this is very special person, man, from the sky. So the commoners say, well, okay, so the better one. So this is before like Islam, Hindu, and other religions come to these islands, for example. So, and you know what? One of my colleagues in Honduras, his studies said the Tomanurung is actually from Melayu. So this is like the strong connection with us. And also, Tomanurung is like people from outside the island come to our island. There's interesting studies. Ian Cardwell, one professor from UK, he wrote the study about the stranger king. So the king for the stranger. It's one way to solve the violence, actually. Put another people, probably like a more impartial, not support one another conflict group to be a leader. You can learn from this. See? So stranger king, yes, totally stranger. So this is the agreement. We put you as our Raja, our Sultan, but you should protect us. You should ensure that we become more peace and also more, prosperity, of course. And we obey you as long as you, hold your agreement to protect us, to concern that we all can work together and, getting a better life. So this is important agreement between Matoa and Tomanurung. And if one of them break the agreement, there will be two consequences. The first one, there will be natural disasters. So previously, macrocosmos, the nature, and microcosmos, all of us human, is a one single things. So when there was like a plague, drought, disasters, kind of things that nature being angry, it because the leaders did something bad. See? So please don't break your agreement. Otherwise, all of us will disappear by the natures. And the second one is more physical way. We did apply impeachment from the 14th, 15th centuries. These studies found that there was some kings was impeached because they are abuse of power. So be careful with your agreement. So there was a contract way from the people and the society. This is long way before the Thomas Hobbes get an idea about social contracts. It's like in 19th centuries or 18th centuries. 40th centuries, the people in Bugis already applied the social contract idea, and they have been worked successfully anyway. So I will explore this based on the framework of administrative tradition from the Painter or Peters theories. Let's start with relationship with society. So the relationship with society, the governments and the people is like contractual, you know. And then Matoa or Ulu Anang had equal power to the ruler to govern society. This is very interesting one. The king is less important than the people. The king would not exist without the people. And the people still the people. All in all, there's no king. This is the strong word about equality. You become a king because we believe you and we respect you. But if you not, act like the king, man, we shouldn't respect you. So the king is obliged to give his life for the benefit of the people, to protect and respect the right and property of the people, prevent people from the act of violence, shelter of the people. So the people should clearly know about all the right obligation to government to other fellow citizens. This is from Latoa. Written is about 15th or 14th centuries. The idea before Europe, before the French, even before British, get an idea about, political entities. They have a very strong way how to develop equality in that way. And what about relationship with political institution? We don't know about that because the power separation is the idea from Europe anyway. So the political power in Bugis is more about personal, institutional matter. The most important one is how to select the public officials. This is the most important one. Who will be in charge to govern people, to serve the people. So the Bugis, they have 4 important requirements to select public officials. This is very strong way. The first one is also written in Latoa. One should have abilities to take an appropriate initiative for fear to abuse power and violate people. The second one, honest, able to do everything carefully and persistent in doing their task. Consistent, brave, not because they like a, have a militancy or something, brave because they are truth. And then proficient and do not easily give up to face a challenge. We need this kind of requirement for current public official anyway. We're looking for the kind of persons. So in that way, if I use current theoretical perspective, there was public service motivations. We should concern not only about knowledge, cognitive or psychomotoric or skill, to recruit the public official, the most important one is the public service motivation. Do they have a motivation to serve the people? And this is very connected with this. Looking for someone who are honest, brave, and persistent, and not easily give up to face a challenge. Another element about law and management. Bugis people, they really concerned about the legal, ada. So Latoa require all public officials to deeply understand ada, law, how to operate, to execute, to implement. It's kind of a little bit the same with the Europe current way. And what about accountability? This is also very important. As we discussed previously, how the Sultan, the Raja, the leader should be accountable. Otherwise, you will face the consequences. And in a Bugis society, you have the way the public can involve to strengthen accountability. This is 5 methods to involve the people to strengthen accountability. The first one in Mangaro Riada. This was happened when there was disasters, failed of harvest. There's a drought. People come to the palace and they say, come on, Kim, please, self-introspection. We believe that you did something bad. That's why the nature angry with us. So after that, Mapatuna. This is like a more specific. There was policy, there was a deed or released by the government, and some groups say that, oh no, we don't like it. So let's talk with the king. Mostly this represented by the Matoa, the leaders of the Wanua or the district, for example, to talk with the king. Okay, my people not really like this policy. Could you please, reconsider again this little bit specific one? So just let Mapatuna. And the third one, Malimpoada, if the Mapatuna is failed, there is no satisfied, solutions from the king, and Mapatuna ada then happen. All the people come to in front of the palace, they bring the food, then they shouldn't bring any weapon. They stay there for the days until they get satisfaction from the king. The fourth one, Mahabharata, is more personal way. The ruling elite, have a conflict with them. So the people go to the palace, specifically like the king members of family, or the king member of official. They will do something bad, and then people say, oh, we don't like it, and then they'll go to the palace and they so we should solve the problem. Otherwise, we will will be violence. In the Bugis perspective, if we have like a conflict, it's only 2 persons. The one who have a conflict, then another one who have the conflict. It's 2 of you. And then, you solved it. So there was a long time ago in the Bugis, we call it like Siga Jalala Lipa. So one sarung, 2 people, everybody have a weapon, and then let us stab each other until one of them die or everyone die. That's the way we, to canalization the conflict. So not involve everybody. So who is the problem? You and you. Go. Finish the problem. Don't ask us to go with you. This is your own problem. Finish your own problem. See? And sometimes people do that in the dawn, before the sunrise. So people say, okay, tomorrow CA and CB will go to the field or like to Sawa, to the rice field, and they will si gajah lalu lipat, step each other in the sarung. So okay, so all people okay, and sometimes they go to someone, okay, are you ready with that tomorrow? Yeah, I do. So okay, good luck, man. So so tomorrow, and then they go there. Okay, sometimes okay, they did it. So let's see. Oh, everybody died. Okay, so everybody happy? Problem solved. Okay, problem solved. That's it. So that's the way we solve the problem. Try to make it easier. Malaka Dapurang is the final things the people can do to protest the king. Literally means moving the kitchen. So the kitchen is a symbol of life, man. So because the Bugis is like the freedom citizens, and they said, right now, today, I dismiss the king. I fire my king. He's not my king anymore. I will move to another country anyway. So that's the way where a lot of Bugis people go around. The descendants of Sultan Selangor, Sultan Johor came here 17th centuries just after the Makassar War between Dutch and the Goa Kingdom at the time. 3 years war, 1666 to 1669 during that time. So that's why a lot of Bugis people far away, go to diaspora, even in France, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, I believe, and also in Malaysia. It's the closest one. And also in Australia, yeah. We have a strong history with Aboriginal people there. There's a strong fact about that. And mostly Australian people don't understand about that. So this is the 5 way how the people, to strengthen the accountability. Okay, I will present this. This is important way to prove you that this really happened. I studied from the journey of James Brooke, the White Raja of Sarawak, I believe. He did the journey to Borneo and Celebes. And I cited this in the chapter 5, page 65, 66. I will strike as the government or constitution of Wajo, tough, ruled by a feudal arbitrary Raja, to cumbersome and slow in this movement, effective in the administration of equal justice between man and man, yet possess many crimes to our admiration, and bears a striking resemblance of the government of feudal times in Europe, or rather that period in Low Countries when the rights of citizens were first acknowledged. The second sentence, we cannot fail to admire in this infant institution the glimmer of elective government, the acknowledged right of citizens, the liberal spirit which has never placed a single restriction upon foreign or domestic commerce. The last one is a very strong way, that a people advanced to this point would gradually progress if left to themselves uncontaminated, unoppressed. There is every reason to believe and decline to the circumstance and the decay of the public and citizen, we may trace the evil of Europe domination. I put it way. Let's move to case study. I said it from the Irawan study. He tried to examine what exactly Bugis value have been applied in public officials in one of district in South Sulawesi. And he found it that there was a 4 main value. It's also written in Lontara: honesty, Ahmad Chang, smart, Atina Jang, decency, and steadfastness. Ahmad Chang, smart, is not only because you have more knowledge. You call it Ahmad Chang, smart, because you're honest. That's it. If you're smart, you have a lot of knowledge, but you're not honest, you're not Ahmad Chang. We call it like a cendekia. See? Okay, this is another case study. Abraham Samad. He was a very strong guy. He's a friend of mine. He's a very young, actually some strong Bugis people, but I put this young guy. Abraham Samad is head of KPK 2011-2015, and was is very brave because he really concerned with the big case of corruptions, including Deputy of Bank Indonesia, the former President SBY son's father-in-law. Just very close. And another one, Anas Urbaningrum, he was the chief of Partai Demokrat, which is SBY is the founder and the member of transport. So, and eventually, Abraham Samad was criminalized in anything, you know, like he has a picture with a woman and kind of stuff. So actually, they tried to push that to you know, to go from the KPK, and you know, a lot of cases will be dismissed. Okay, what are the challenges to explore more about administrative tradition? The first one is still lack of studies. So this is also a challenge for me as a scholars, that we should more deep explore about our roots. And I believe here in Malaysia as well, we have a very diverse society. We believe that we have been here before all the people come here, and then we already successfully manage our people. So how we did that? A long time ago. And also, still the political will and resources, you know, to support this kind of administrative tradition. Because the impulse of Western governments since like decades that stick the idea of the leaders that, okay, we just follow the Western government way. And I told you before that a lot of studies prove that it's a fail actually. It's only like a superficial way, not in substantive way. Another one is public official a lack of knowledge. Thank you for Rata School government did this. It's very important, and to explore more about this. And other one is also the diversity of the people, and we can also consider and discuss and explore more. Indonesia, for example, we have Aceh. It's of course, you know, very strong foundational governments from a long time ago. Currently, they still keep that. And Indonesia, we have like a Undang-Undang Desa, the law of village, the provided a broad authority in the local level to govern the people. So, I think that's all. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mas Yani. Thank you, everyone, for giving us your attention today. And I actually learned a lot of things myself, just as, you know, I read a couple of articles that Mr. Yani wrote before that will form the basis of his research and today's presentation. So I would love it for the audience to get to ask their questions first. But I'm looking at some of the questions that I had when I was listening, and also that I had when I was, excuse me, reading Mr. Yani's work. I think you answered some of it already. You know, like the idea of looking at our own roots to inform how we lead ourselves and our teams in the public sector. It's not to say that we haven't been doing it, but we haven't been deliberately putting it at the center stage, right? So banyak benda-benda ni mungkin kita dah apply, tapi sebab dia dah mendarah daging, dah menjiwa betul dekat dalam kita punya minda, so we don't think about it. We don't call it, this or that. But in fact, we might already have it inside. But to what extent have we had the opportunity to develop it? Considering that, if you take a moment, my grandparents punya parents were still under the British and the Dutch. when they were alive. So even generations back, how much opportunity did we have to truly govern ourselves with the local wisdoms that our different communities come from, right? So it's just a moment of invitation, like what that we really haven't had the opportunity to do. Because once the many nations of Southeast Asia received, or not received, obtained or fought for their independence, kena cepat-cepat, okay, we have to catch up with the rest of the world. We have to, put the differences behind us. We have to develop our economy. What are the tools we have at hand? Okay, the closest one is whatever we had right before that, which was British ke, Dutch ke, whatever kan, yang that has been somewhat semi-localized into our social fabric. But so now is a moment for us to just give ourselves the opportunity to kind of look back. If we knew more about these examples of pre-colonial administrative tradition and wisdoms, philosophies, frameworks of getting things done together, basically kan, apa tu public sector, apa itu organization. Ultimately, it's just when there's more than two people trying to get something done, it becomes a organization. Menjadi sebuah institusi, menjadi sebuah organisasi. So for to take the moment to think of what else can we pull and inform our current work today. So I want to have, I'd love to invite you for you to give yourself the opportunity to just think for a moment in your own work today, maybe after you go back. What are some of the values that have already existed that I can put center stage, right? We put center stage to inform our work today. So because this kind of, what we're trying to do at Razak School of Government is potentially develop this into an actual leadership training module. Tapi benda ni macam it's we're just starting to think about it. So we want to hear from the very people that we are here to serve, which is the public sector leaders. There are in each and every one of you sitting right here. So with that, I want to open for questions from the audience first. Silakan.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Very good morning to all ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm Ismail from the Civil Defense Force. Okay, if the Mr. Andi, Ahmad, Yani, okay, thank you for your very good to open my mind. Okay, to exploring Bugis administrative tradition. If you heard that the research done with Dr. Haji Sanib Said from Sarawak Ken regarding the 6 negeri yang hilang, that is also referred to the Rajah you mentioned just now. I interested for that statement because I am the one who's the Sarawak Malay researchers under Dr. Sanib. Is it they have a simulation with the Bugis and the Sarawak itself, the Sarawak Malay, the concept of berjalai. So you mentioned about the diaspora for the Bugis to the Asian, to Australia, and the concept of berjalai mean berjalan. Berjalai is bahasa Iban. Then is it the same concept? If you heard that the researcher from the Sarawak lah, okay, can you explain the similarities from the Sarawak Malay, the concept of berjalai, and the Bugis administrative, how it interconnectivity? Thank you.
Thank you. Could you please explain more about berjalai? This is the first thing I heard.
Okay, concept of berjalai means berjalan. Before this, if we have the continent, they have actually in one continent. So that is based on the history. But then they have the Pulau Borneo itself. The local itself from Pulau Borneo, they research from the Gua Mulu. Then history stated that they have the orang Sarawak itself. They have the concept berjalan to Philippines, berjalan to Kalimantan, Sumatra, and research that can prove that the word of ayam itself, manok. If the Philippines itself, they have the same word with this orang Iban in Sarawak. that mean that concept of berjalai. So is how it the connectivity in terms of the races of Bugis and Orang Iban and Malay itself in Sarawak based on the book of the 6 negeri yang hilang in Sarawak based on the Brunei historian.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the questions. Very interesting. I haven't read the book, but I got that the kind of concept berjalai in a Bugis perspective, we call it like a sompo, because long time ago, before school institution have been exist before, there's like a the way we teach our kid, right? One way the Bugis people did is you should go explore the world, learn from anyone, and after that, you can stay there or you can come here and then, share their experience to the younger guy. So that's the Bugis people start the education systems. So people who like probably like a 17, 18 guy, okay, you are getting old before you get married, you should explore your experience. You should learn something from the world. So go out, berjalai, for example.
Mungkin dekat nak sama dengan merantau juga.
Ya, merantau, ya.
Kalau merantau tu orang Minangkabau kan?
Merantau, ya,
so
betul.
Merantau
Ya.
the concept of Minangkabau.
Yeah,
And that's
similar. Yeah, it's similar.
and I'm glad you brought up this idea of connectivity, because that is one of the things that we found very interesting, is that despite the fact that Southeast Asia is quite dispersed, sebab kita sebenarnya dikoneksikan, disambungkan oleh air, kan? So it's not surprising. I think it's surprising to us now because we think of ourselves as Malaysian, Indonesian, Philippines, sebab the borders were put in place after the colonizers left. But in fact, before, we have always been more connected than we thought. You mentioned the word mano. Actually, in Hawaii, dekat tengah Pacific Ocean, same word for bird is manu.
In Bugis as well, Manu.
Bugis juga manu.
Okay, maybe that is interconnecting because of the assimilasi budaya. But even though me myself, actually, I don't know. Actually, my DNA, I don't know, because my father is Chinese Malay, my mom is Malay Iban, and Malay Iban is mixed with Bruneian Malay. So I don't know which actually race the purely ethnic I am actually.
Saya rasa satu benda yang unik. So even the concept of a pure race kan, actually kita semua dekat sini, kalau we check our background, semua pun memang dah bercampur. So my thesis that I worked on, my master's thesis that brought me to Hawaii, that brought me to meet Mr. Yani, is actually on looking at that concept of mixedness in Southeast Asia. In English maybe we call it cosmopolitanism, yang membolehkan kita readily learn about and embrace aspects of certain even new ideas or new cultures and bring it into our lives to make our lives and our communities better. So that I don't know what to call it yet, but that's one of the things that we're trying to explore at RSOG School of Government is, what is this for the ASEAN, for example, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, the idea of an ASEAN identity, they were trying to go for that. But this idea is actually not only just an idea, kita dah practice from a long time ago. We just never really called it anything because we were just busy making things happen, So, thank you for that. Thank you for sparking that discussion. Would love to hear from another audience member, even if just thoughts, not necessarily have to be question, feedback ke comments. Silakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khadijah binti Said Hashim. I'm from UITM, and I would like to thank Prof. Azia because daripada Prof. Azia, so I come to know this RSOG School of Government. I'm purely in the teaching and learning and education, and I'm very, very what you call in love when it comes to historical and philosophical. I nak berdiri je, ya. I just came back from Davao, from Philippines, because Prof. Azia knew about this one. because I love cultural thing. In pedagogy we call it the art of teaching. We call it collaborative pedagogy or cultural responsive teaching, which means we need to expose our student daripada kecil sampai besar the importance of their identity, especially their root. Because we have so many distraction and competition nowadays from social media, right? We have TikTok, just to name a few. Our age ni Facebook lah. We don't face the book, we Facebook, right? So the young generation, including my children and students, they love to do TikTok because it's so entertainment, and short and precise. Anyways, congratulations, Pa Andi, because I really love this local wisdom thingy. And I think it's about time the Razak School of Government try to be, come up with leadership framework and expose them, educate the young generation, make it more interesting, involve everyone. Ultimately, we want to produce a local wisdom leaders, right? Remembering our root, appreciating our identity is very, very crucial. I am a Bajau myself from Sabah. My mother is from Mindanao. I'm in here in Shah Alam. So it's basically Malaysian. So anyways, so I have 6 students with me. Just to be honest with you, I really loved our visit, our tour to Davao, because all this while we have a secondary data, we know that Philippines is not safe, secondary data. So I said to my students, tak boleh ni kita kena tengok sendiri. We have to really experience learning. What is it Davao and Manila and Philippines? So we have experience, alhamdulillah, during bulan puasa. I call it spiritual journey. So my students, they're around T20, M40, they don't have any experience before having the life like this. So what we had, alhamdulillah, dia nampak sendiri Davao is actually a safe city. Which means the students, dia punya experience, kalau pukul 6 kita dah risau nak tak balik. They're so very interested to their education system, they can stay until 10 PM, 12 PM night. Dia boleh jalan dekat city tu. So I had the chance to actually speak to the politicians and also kedutaan, and they were saying the same thing, consistent data. They were saying that, okay, for about 20 years, we heard rumors that Philippines is not safe, but Davao is one of the kota yang selamat. So you can see the evidence. That's not the secondary data, primary data, we can see that. Ultimately, Pak Andi and everyone here, I think it's about time for us, rather than bercakap-cakap macam ni, coming with a good framework, educate and expose the young generation, the importance of actually proud of your cultural identity, your root, your local wisdom, so that we can actually producing not only your human capital, human leaders with human characteristics, yang ada agama, yang ada cultural dia, be it Indonesian ke, Malaysia ke, kita ni semua sama, right? So I'm very excited coming here. Thanks again to Razak School of Government, Pak Andi. Informasi ini sungguh berguna, and insyaAllah, let's help the young generation, alright? Talk to them, because kesian, the TikTok thing is so much into the superficial thing and what you call it, hedonism. We don't want that. So thank you so much. Macam cikgu pula kan kat depan. Okay.
Tak apa. Thank you. Terima kasih. Betul. No, thank you so much. That really warms our hearts, I think, because it in a sense, this, trying to bawa balik kearifan lokal ni kadang-kadang macam it's too new or it's too different, we're too busy, I still have to finish this report, I still have to do this other thing, we have to finish it. But so that's why Razak School of Government wants to take these moments to kind of give pause. But one of the challenges that we have that we are trying to overcome together, and me here trying to help as well in whatever way I can and also learn, is to move beyond the conversation. Kan sekarang kita kita dah berconversing, dah berbual tentang benda ni. So today, when you go back, or maybe in the feedback form, in whatever ways that how you have been inspired or what more questions you have, even if you are skeptical about it, those are the things that we need to take into consideration as we try to form this into a module. And also to, like you mentioned, many of RSOG's audiences, actually, many of them are from the Ministry of Education. Okay? And naturally, we think of ourselves as public sector employees or even private sector employees. We have to do this work. Oh yeah, and we happen to have children too. Tapi children itulah yang nak menggantikan kita, dan apa yang kita boleh buat untuk to create a world for them to step into, where they can perpetuate what has always helped us before, that can help us propel us into the future, whether it be truly localism from this place, and also from our more recent experiences from people that have come to extract from us, but we made do with what we could, and maybe there's little tidbits of pearls of wisdom even from that as well. So thank you so much for that, and definitely that is the hardest thing with these kinds of this field, this leadership, whatever, research scholar, academia, academics, is how do we bridge it into, can we just do it already? To try it, make the mistakes that we need to make, and then move on. Mana Satya, how are we on time? Got how many more questions, Ken? Oh, okay, cool. So we got time. Any other questions from the audience?
Can I respond a little bit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, alamak, tak dapat.
It's okay. I mean, thank you, Puan, for sharing that. This is very important as well. This way, us in Hasanuddin University, we got the idea to have a course. We call it indigenous governance. How to, share the idea about our roots, and also we will have a collaboration with Victoria University Wellington in New Zealand. And New Zealand also is a very strong country with the indigenous. We just discussed with Puan Nezia about that. So we should have like a special course to teach our young generations that we should learn from our roots, and not because we are diverse society, of course. That doesn't mean that the roots will be like buried among us. No, at all. Because from the roots we can see how actually the old people, the ancient people, is very cosmopolitan, right? We welcome everybody come to our land, so we have a cultural collaboration with the example in the Davao and also in the Philippines as well. So the roots doesn't mean that we make a barrier, no, but we try to stronger that actually these roots stronger than probably now, because we already developed our diverse society long time ago, right? So yeah, this young generation is very important to know that. Thank you.
Silakan, ada lagi pertanyaan?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pak Andi, thank you so much for your talk. I guess it's a bit of a addition to the question. I think when you talk about the challenges that we face in trying to get this kind of knowledge out, you mentioned lack of study, political will, lack of knowledge, especially within the government. It's not much different in Indonesia as it is in Malaysia as well, right? So one way that we can do is to try to generate as much interest, and particularly in the young, right? Aside from schools, what other institutions should help in trying to get the interest up, in your experience in Indonesia as well?
Thank you. Thank you. That's very good questions. School is one of social engineering institutions. It's a very strong way. The second one is a family, of course. Yeah. So I have some friend from Harvard University. They told me that, if you go to Harvard, you should have one foreign language besides English. Say, and also this way I also talk with my students in university. You should prove your local language. So Indonesia, we have like thousands local languages. Most of them is already in danger, and language is the strong way to deliver knowledge. So Indonesia, we have like a local content curriculum. So in every school, they should have a local content to learn literature, the script, for example, and also any storytelling, for example, about the local culture they have been grow in that particular areas. So local contents curriculums is also one example in Indonesia, and also the family, of course, yeah. And the big one is also policy, of course. So policy is the instrument of all the social engineering. So the political will, again, is very important to strengthen this idea to explore. So thank you to RSOG. This is very strong way to explore there. Even Indonesia Institute of Practice don't really care about this. So this was very surprised. I mean, I invited here to share this way. I was like, when I came from Leiden, and then I talked with my colleague, I discussed with this, all the people, come on, we should talk about this. And then, because we are very diverse, and then, okay, what kind of a culture we need? Explore all, because I believe there was a connection, you know. There was one strong line among us, the spirit, that we should have like a good governance. And everybody believe that we should do that. We should, dig deep from our cultures. Yeah. Thank you.
One simple way for me, just to answer your question, Umar, just from what other ways, what other instruments can we use to start raising awareness on this way of looking at how we lead ourselves and how we lead others, how we live together. For me, much simple, I start with the word, the power of the word. I'm sitting here, speaking like mixed English, Malay, Indonesian. But ultimately, like the language in my brain, actually I call it my heart brain, is bahasa ibunda lah, so bahasa Melayu kan. Even the word lead dalam bahasa kita, bahasa Melayu, is pemimpin. And what is the root word is pimpin. So in English, it's somebody at the front to lead, right? So spatially, you are at the front. But on some level, that is our understanding as well. Even when we say pemimpin, kita bayangkan okay, prime minister, whatever, director, pengarah. But the word itself, if we go back to the word, is pimpin. That means you are holding, you are hand in hand. So actually, you are together. Just that, it in itself, the power of the word, just to take a moment and say, oh, that's a very different view of leadership, right? And I think in Indonesia also from one of the early Minister of Education there, Ki Hajar Dewantara, that to lead is to lead from the front, from the middle, and from the back. And yes, he is, he was the Minister of Education. But this, I noticed in the research that I've been looking at as well on the concept of local wisdom in public sector leadership, it keeps coming up, this idea of leading from the front, the middle, and the back. That's ours. That's of this region. And just to take a moment to say, yes, the Harvards and Oxfords of the world definitely put out some really, strong kind of strategic management, public administration type of what are the strategies that can work. But that everything comes from a place, and that those things come from a place. So what are the things that come from our place? And our place is big. It's like this entire, Southeast Asia is huge, right? And it holds many poles of wisdom as well. So for me, it's the power of the word. I macam duduk, with my nieces. I don't have children of my own, but I have nephews and nieces. Sometimes I just say like that lah. What is pemimpin actually? What does the word mean? And then just that moment of like, oh yeah, it's like this. So you're together, right? Instead of like, I'm gonna sit up here and lead you all. It's very different feeling, right? Just that, just as a starting point. So for me, it could be the power of the words. The second thing is entertainment. School policy, of course, very important. We cannot not have those things happen. But one of the things that I look in my research is performing arts, film, media. I'm also a marketing professional by training, in addition to project management and academic research. It's how do we get these ideas, or just not even ideas, just the history and philosophy into the fabric of format of content that kids look at, that even we look at. Like, I watch Netflix like nobody's business, And I'm looking for this now. I'm looking for, ada tak macam Game of Thrones ataupun Lord of the Rings, tapi version illegaligo. Just to, because I still want to be entertained, right? So entertainment is another one just for us to explore. So maybe that's the Ministry of Arts and Culture, right? Youth and Sports and things like that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andi, for a very engaging session. I'd just like to ask, what do you think some of the wisdom from the Bugis tradition that should be incorporated in the current public sector administration? Because you mentioned that it's smart, honesty, decent, steadfastness is also one of the four main values. But what else do you think that should be incorporated in current day administration in the public sector? Maybe you want to share something? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your very good questions. In the Latoa, there's a written about you should always take care of the people, how to develop the trust, and then the most important thing is how to engage all people to be one action is the governance capacity. The most important thing is how to develop the trust. So this is a very strong way how to develop the trust. It's a public official is of course it's honest and persistency. So if people trust you, you will get a lot of followers. So there was a Latoa said, if you want to make people follow you, just an example like a sheep. If you go to the sheep and you feel like safe, so all people will see you and also will follow you. So the first one you should do is make that what you do is already in the good way, in the good intentions. Although maybe a lot of people don't agree with you, but if you do something in the good intention and try to develop trust with other people, then just go. So that's also mentioned in Lontara. It's like a very good thing. And I just got an idea. Maybe we should have like kind of this Lontara, the guidance of the leaders. See, all of kind of good words from our elders, so then all the leaders can read it, inspire it. So yeah, maybe we should have like kind of things, like the present days of Lontara, from all of kind of culture we absorb from the diverse society. So yeah, thank you. I hope I answered your question. If maybe I can share my email later for all the participants. So if you have any question, please feel free to reach me. Just drop a line. I will be more than happy to respond and discuss more about that. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Yani, and
Most
thank you
welcome.
everyone for sitting through and sharing your thoughts. And even if you didn't, that's okay too. you know, the idea for today is for us to be together, have this conversation, whether with each other or in our own heads, and maybe afterwards when we have refreshments and beyond after that. So if no more, ada question? Dah tak ada. Okay, so silakan Satya untuk to close the session. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending today's morning session. We hope you gained something, and we look forward to welcoming you for future programs as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Andi. Thank you very much, Nizia, for moderating the session. We have gained a lot, and we look forward to welcoming more people for future programs. We have a photo session, and we also like to invite everyone for refreshments as well, lunch refreshments. Thank you very much.